Okay, so hello everyone, and hello to those who watch the recording of this webinar. So today we will speak about the assessment of production of students' productions. So we will see just after what does it mean exactly. And just before, a quick presentation of Challenge Me. So Challenge Me, we are a peer review solution. It means that we provide an environment for the students to assess each other's. It can be the assessment on production, so that's what we are going to see today. But it can also be the assessment of group members to identify the free riders, for example. It can also be the assessment from the teacher to the students or the assessment of courses. So we have different kind of activity with a principle of phase. So we will see everything just after. We work with business schools, engineering schools, and universities, mainly in France, but also in Switzerland, Canada, Belgium. And we are fully integrated to the main learning management system of the market, like Moodle, Brightspace, Blackboard. Means that the students and you won't need to have separate credentials to access the platform. Um, Regarding myself, my name is Jean, and at Challenge Me, I'm in charge of supporting the users in the platform. So if you have technical questions or questions regarding how you can integrate Challenge Me in your course, you can ask us directly. And you won't be stuck with a problem because we really focus on the support to help you to set up your activity. So the topic of today is the assessment of student projections. So by student projections, we can say the assessment of video, podcast, poster, internship report, computer code, essay, and so on. So the idea is to allow to launch an environment where the students will be able to submit a work to the platform and to assess the work of others. So the students can assess the work of others, but also the teacher. So to present it to you, I will go through our use case library. So I will just switch in English here. You can access it directly in the website just by clicking on application examples and use case library. So here you will be able to see all the use cases we propose. You can sort and filter the use case by selecting different filter here. So let's imagine for us it will be rock assessment, and I will have different use cases. So as I said, a student production can be a CV, an essay, podcast, presentation or poster, internship report. So we have dedicated use case to present you the format of the template we provide. So let's imagine today we will focus on the assessment and feedback on essay. I will click on it. And I will be able to see the objective of the activity, the benefits, some example of criteria, and how it works. So regarding the interest of the assessment of student productions, the students will enter a process where they will have to submit a work to the platform and to assess the work of others. You can use it to generate a grade. So if you want, if you have a certain amount of students, you can generate a grade with this kind of activity. You will have specific criteria to help you to quickly launch your challenge. So if it's an essay, you will have criteria related to the essay. The same thing with computer code. You can adapt this criteria if you need. Um, and you can also use this format just to train the students. If you want to improve the skill of the students on the deliverable you ask, you can launch this kind of template, of course. This is the most common template used in Challenge Me. And you can use it and edit it to fit exactly your needs and your pedagogical scenario. So how does it work? The first step, so at Challenge Me, we have a principle of phase. So what we call a challenge is a Challenge Me activity. And in a challenge, you can add different kind of phases. So you have phase where you ask the student to submit a work. You have phase where a student can assess a work, so assess the work of others. We have other phase where they have to assess their group members with whom they have collaborated. So we won't see it today, but you can keep in mind that you can launch this kind of phase, a phase to display the result to the students. So if you are interested about the other phase, do not hesitate to see the other webinar in the replay page we will provide you. So this template will work in 3 steps. The first step, the submission of work. So here we will ask the student to submit a work to the platform. It can be individual or in group, depending on the format you want. Then we have a phase where the students need to assess and to give feedback to the work of others. So it will be guided by criteria defined by the teacher. The teacher can also take part of the stage. And you have a result phase where you will calculate a grade and display it to the students if you want to display it. You can also hide the result if you prefer to make it available only for the teacher. And if you are interested about best practices, you can also see some advice here to be sure that your activity will run correctly. So this is for the use case. So as I said, we will focus on the assessment and feedback on essay, but if you want the student to assess a video or a podcast or any kind of other format, it will work exactly on the same way. So before to enter the process of creation of a challenge, I will show you first what the student will see. What is the objective of what we are going to set up? So I will logged in a Moodle course. So here I'm in a Moodle course. I'm logged as a student. And to access to the challenge, I can click on a challenge me activity. And once I click on it, I will be redirected to this kind of interface, allowing me to participate to a challenge. So here, I just show you again. I click on the challenge me activity in my Moodle course, or Blackboard or Brightspace. It depends on your LMS, but it will work on the same way. And I'm redirected to this interface. Here I can see the different phase I'm enrolled to participate in it. I can see that I have 3 phases in this challenge: a work submission phase, assessment of work, and result phase, as we saw in the template page in our website. So regarding the work submission, here I have the instruction defined by the teacher, and I can submit my work just here. So let's imagine it's an essay that you ask to the students. The students will be able to submit their essay by selecting submit file here and to drop their files in this field to upload it. And then once it's done, I can click on validate to validate my work as a student. If it's a working group, I can see it here, and my work will be validated for the whole group. Then I have the assessment of work phase. So as you can see, each phase has a start date and end date. So I can access the different phase regarding the due date setup. In this phase, I have 2 work to assess. So we'll see that we can define the number of pieces of work you want each student to assess. So here I have 2. I can click on the first one, see the work I have to assess, and I can assess it with the different criteria defined by the teacher just here. So here I have criteria presentations with a scale from 1 to 10 stars. I have a description attached to this criterion. I can also have Likert scale like this. So the presentation is original and creative. I can say, okay, not agree at all, disagree, agree, totally agree, and so on. I have predefined options. So here I have just a criterion with different observable elements, and I can choose the best option I think regarding the work I'm assessing. I can have also open feedback. So I have a question, I have just to answer it. I don't have to give a grade, just to answer the question. And overall feedback field. So we'll see just after how you can create your criteria grid. I can validate my first assessment and make the same thing for the second one. And then I will be able to access the results. So here I can see that I received a grade of 16 out of 20. If I have different phases, so here it's not related to our challenge, You can see the detail here. And here I have the detail of my grade. So here I can see that I received this grade and the detail. So the average by criterion and the different feedback I received. Don't pay attention to the other tabs because it's not related to our challenge. It just you will have only this tab for the template I will show you today. So the grade, the average by criterion, and the feedback received. You can choose to display all the information here, but you can also display some part. So for example, just the feedback received and hide the grade. You can do the contrast, show the grade and not the feedback. And you can also decide to hide everything. It depends of the information you want to provide to the students. That's what we want to create today. So 3 phases, work submission, assessment of work, and display results. So to create a challenge, I need to go to my course and to switch to edition mode as a teacher. So I need to be logged with a teacher role in my course. So it's the same principle if you're on Moodle or Brightspace or Blackboard. You need to have the teacher role. And then you can click on add an activity or resource just here. Then in the activity selector, you will find challenge me. This is for Moodle. For Blackboard, it's another process, but I will send you the guide related to each LMS after the webinar. So I will select challenge me this activity. I will name it, and I will click on save and display, and open a new window. Then I will be able to choose between the direct mode and accompanied mode. It will be always the direct mode because we remove this mode. So I click on direct mode. And here I can create a challenge from scratch. So I can create an empty challenge and I will add one by one the phases I want in the challenge. So a work submission phase, then assessment of work phase, and a result phase. So I can do like that. Or I can choose a template. A template will have predefined phases and predefined criteria. So the idea is to save time by selecting a template. So to do it, you can choose assessment of work here, and then you choose the assessment of work related to the assessment of essay. For now, we don't have all the template available in the platform. That's why I don't have a specific button to click on it, but it will be the case really soon. So when it will be available, you will have something like assessment of an essay, submission and assessment of essay. For the essay, it will be the same principle for video, podcast, and other format. And then you will have a predefined template like that. So you will click on create. Then you will land on this page where we have a predefined template with a title, a summary of the challenge, and then the 3 phases of the challenge. So here we have 3 phases in our template. So the submission of essay, assessment of essay, and display of results. So to set it up, I need to click on a phase, so the work submission, for example, and then I have the different option to configure this phase. The first thing will be to configure the date. So here I will indicate I want the challenge to start, for example, next Tuesday and until the 1st of October. So here I have the start date and the end date for this phase. I can activate some notification if I want to remind the student to participate. I can define instructions just here, so it will be predefined for you. You can edit it if needed. Regarding the participant tab, I can indicate here who will participate to this phase. So you can import the students directly from Moodle or your LMS by clicking on enroll teams if it's a team work, or enroll individuals if it's an individual work. So let's imagine if it's a team work, I will click on enroll teams. And then here I will see the different group present in my LMS. So I can select all the groups that I want. There's one, and I will click on enroll, select and enroll. So the different teams have been enrolled. So I have not a lot of people in each of the team in my example, but just to present you the principle. You can do the same thing if you don't use the group feature in your LMS. So if you want to enroll individuals, you click on enroll individuals, and then you select the users you want to enroll to the challenge. So here I select all the users in my course, and they will be enrolled. Let's imagine you don't use the group feature in Moodle and you want to import them in the work simulation phase. You can click on import participant and add an Excel sheet in this field to upload your group. So in this Excel sheet, we ask to have a column with the email and a column with the group name, and all the people with the same group name will be together. And you have an example you can download just here if you need. So this is regarding the enrollment. Then it's done for this phase. So I click on save. I can now set up the assessment of essay. So here I will indicate that I want that the assessment phase will start the 5 until next week. So you can see that it updated this graph, this chart. So it starts at the 5th and end at the 12th. You have the same notification you can activate, instructions, and here you have assessment criteria. So because we choose the template simulation and evaluation of essay, we have predefined criteria related to this kind of rock. So clarity and coherence of argumentation, relevance of ideas and content, quality of introduction and conclusion, using sources and reference, and spelling, grammar, and writing skills still. So you can let it like that. You can edit the different options of each criterion to fit exactly the work you ask. You can also add more criterion if you need, but you have a base. So if you need to add more criterion, you can click on Add Criteria. You can name your criterion just here and select the assessment method you want. So here in this example, all the criteria are in the predefined option. So if you need to add another one with a predefined option, you can select it and add the different option you want. You can also choose the stars if you prefer, indicating the max number of stars. So let's imagine 10. You can use just a number. So you have different options to create your criterion. You can also add a criterion from our criteria base. So you can click on predefined criteria. And here you will see all the criteria. So you can filter with the language, the score configuration you want, and you can select the criteria you want to add it to your challenge. So once you have defined your criterion, so you can see that you have other options. So you can activate a feedback to each criterion if you need. You can make it mandatory if needed as well. So I won't show you all the option of challenge me, but just the principle to show you how it works. And after I will send you all the guide you need to understand what kind of options can be activated. You have the option tab. So here you can indicate if you want a global feedback to be given by each student. You can make it mandatory as well. And you will indicate the number of pieces of work to evaluate per participant. So here at 3, it means that each student will have to assess 3 other essays in our case. You can put another number if you prefer. And the allocation of students to be evaluated will be automatic by the platform. So you will be sure that at the end, each student will receive the same amount of feedback because the platform will allocate it dynamically to be sure that at the end, each student will receive the same amount of feedback. Then you can enroll the participant. So if I want to enroll the same participant than the rock simulation phase, I can reuse enrollment from phase simulation of essay. By this way, it will enroll the same participant of the rock submission phase, this one. If you wanted to add the assessment by a teacher, you could. So you can we'll just remove participant here. And I can enroll only the teacher. So I will select the manager. So here I don't have, but I can select the manager of the course. And then if I do that, the manager will have to assess the work submitted during the submission of essay. You can do both. So you can enroll here the students. So I will do it. And you can add a specific phase if you want the teacher to assess as well the work of student. So you have two assessment phases. The first one, the assessment by students, and the second one I just added to enroll the teacher here. So at the end, the students will receive the grade from the students and from the teacher. We'll just remove this phase. But it was just to show you the principle. You can also allocate who need to assess who, but I recommend to use this automatic feature, so you don't need to take time to indicate to the platform who need to evaluate who, because this feature will do it automatically. Then you can indicate when you want the result to be displayed. So I will choose so the assessment end on the October 12th. So I will just display after. And I can indicate here what kind of information I want to display to the students. So here I will let the default configuration, so the average by criterion and the feedback received. Let's imagine I want to hide the result for participant to keep it for the teacher. I just need to activate this option. I won't do it in my case. You can also configure a grade if you want to have a grade at the end. You can indicate a score out of 10, 20, 50, 100, depending on what you want to do. You can also add different coefficients regarding the criteria you have added. So let's imagine I want this criterion to have a coefficient of 2. I can do it like that. This one, a coefficient of 1. I can do it for each of the coefficient if I want to personalize the final grade. And I can also do it for the phase. So let's imagine I had an assessment of work by student in the phase and the assessment of teacher in another phase. I can say, okay, I want 80% of the grade to be part to have the grade of the teacher and the 20% the assessment of students. So you can really create a specific grade related to your needs. If you're interested to set up all the different coefficients, we have dedicated guides to help you to do it. So now my challenge is ready, so I can click on save and I can publish it. So I click on draft here and publish it. And then the students will be able to access it by just clicking on the activity you have added to your LMS. So now you can wonder how you can access to the results, how you can see the number of feedback given by students and so on. So to do it, you can just go back to, so if you are in this interface, you can click directly on the Resolve Your button just here, and then you will land on this page. So here you have submission of essay, assessment of essay, and result display. So the three phases we have. And then you have the list of students, and you can see if they have validated their work during the work submission phase, the same principle regarding the assessment. And the result phase, you will have the list of all the grades. For now, it's empty because I just have set up now, but I will show you a challenge with data. So just to show you, I will take this one. Okay. So here I have more phases, but I will focus on the principle. So the work submission phase, I can see if the students have submitted the work. So here, all the students have submitted the work. I have filtered to filter students who didn't participate, for example. If I want to access the work, I click on it. I can see the work submitted here and the different feedback received for this work. I can edit the assessment if I need or invalidate it. Can do the same for the assessment of work. So here I have the list of students and I can see if they have given their assessment. I have some information to understand if some of the assessment have been considered as underscored or overscored. I can click on it again if I want to see the different assessment given by, in my case, Sacha Bonnet to group C and group B. And if I click on the result phase, I have the score for each student. So here it's a score based on different phases, but for you, you will have only one grade if you use this template with only one assessment phase. If you have several, you will have something like that. So the grade. And you can see the details. So you can have the average by criterion if you want. And you can see the detail for each criterion, for example. So here's the number of received evaluation and then the detail for each criterion. You can update the grade configuration if you need to add some adjustment to the coefficient you have added to simulate the new configuration. And you can also export everything in an Excel sheet. So you can click on export and you will have an Excel sheet with all the data, so the participation data to understand if to have the list of students and if they have validated their work, if they have given all the feedback we expect them to give, and the grade also for each of the students, the feedback sections, everything they have done in this challenge. So I show you the assessment of essay for this example, but you can see that we have the same principle for the assessment of CV, assessment of podcast, assessment of presentation, internship report, video. So each time we have specific criterion for the use case you will choose. So it will be time saving for you to choose the criteria. You can, of course, edit the criteria after, but you have a base regarding the deliverable you want the student to submit. So it's 2:30 almost. So we saw the use case we have addressed, the benefits of this use case, what does it look like for the students, how you can create it from a template from the Challenge Me, from a LMS to the Challenge Me template. So by selecting the template, and how you can follow the participation. So if you have question, do not hesitate to ask me, and I will be it will be a pleasure for me to answer you.